Chapter 1 The Banished Battle God. Translator Nom Yumi. Editor Gravity Tales. Click click, tap tap. A pair of nimble hands fluttered across the keyboard and mouse, producing rhythmic tapping sounds much like a lively symphony. The screen flashed with bright light and the opponent fell to the ground in a spray of blood. Yezu chuckled as he lifted his hand to take the cigarette dangling out the corner of his mouth. The silver-white smoke had already formed long tendrils hanging in the air. But Yezu continued with his work, brandishing his mouse and striking his keyboard, not in the least bit distracted. The removed cigarette was quickly extinguished in an eccentrically shaped ashtray on the table, and Yezu's hand flew back to the keyboard. Right when he was about to say a few words to his opponent, the door of his room was suddenly pushed open with a bang. Yezu didn't turn his head, as though he'd been waiting for this moment. He merely asked, "Here?"
"Here."
Su Misheng's reply was also simple. "Then let's go." Yezu declined his opponent's request for another duel and gently removed the card from Glory's dedicated login device. He headed to the door, grabbing a jacket from a clothes hanger on his way out. The night had already darkened considerably, but Club X and Era's lights were still bright. Yezu and Su Misheng left the room and walked all the way to the end of the corridor. Located here was a spacious conference room. At the entrance, digital display screens almost covered the walls. They showed the rankings of the Glory Professional Alliance and various technical statistics. Ranking: Team X and Era, number 19, second to last place. For a trump card team that had once won 3 consecutive champion titles in the league, this score was particularly painful to the eyes. It hung brightly and glaring on the wall, as if heartlessly mocking everyone. But the atmosphere in the room wasn't heavy. On the contrary, it was somewhat lively. The members of X and Era were gathered all around one person, as if they were stars surrounding the moon. Most of them didn't react to Yezu's arrival, and the ones that did quickly swept over him with expressions of coldness and mockery.
"Yezu, the club has already decided that the newly transferred Sung Jiang will take over your position as captain. From now on, Sung Jiang will be in the control of your account, One Autumn Leaf." The club manager saw the arrival of Yezu and immediately turned his head to speak. With no tact or prior warning, he notified him of this in an ice-cold manner, as if he were throwing away a ball of used toilet paper. Su Misheng opened her mouth to speak, but Yezu lightly tugged at her sleeve. He smiled faintly and shook his head at her, indicated that he wasn't fazed. "Brother Yi, I'm sorry, I took your position as soon as I arrived."
The left-hand side of the conference table was the exclusive seat for X and Era's team captain. It should have been Yezu's seat, but Sung Jiang casually sat there and said these few words, barely sparing a glance for Yezu. This was no longer ignorance, rather it was a form of disregard. His gaze fell instead upon the body of Su Misheng, who had arrived with Yaku. To be fair, Su Misheng was indeed more attractive to the eye than Yezu. She was known as Glory's Professional Alliance's #1 beauty. If she were thrown into the show business, she would still be considered a rare beauty. Even the X and Era members who saw her every day were still somewhat stunned when they saw Su Misheng enter. But they quickly recovered, because today there was a more important person that deserved their attention.
"Haha, Brother Yang, with those words, this position definitely suits you."
Everyone promptly scrambled for their lines after Sung Jiang spoke. "Right, some people are already old and outdated.
One Autumn Leaf should really be under Brother Yang's command. Only he can show the true strength of the battle god."
This was the subject of everyone's focus. Sung Jiang, a genius-level player of the new generation of the Glory Professional Alliance. When he joined the league last season, Sung Jiang won the best newcomer title with his MVP-like stats. This season, he led the mediocre team Conquering Clouds to 8th place, and they had strong hopes for advancing to the playoffs. But during the mid-season transfer window, he transferred to the collapsing X and Era. It was entirely because, although X and Era's performance this season was terrible, they possessed a character who regarded as the battle god of glory, Battle Mage One Autumn Leaf. Sung Jiang was young and hadn't even been part of the alliance for 2 years, but these X and Era members shamelessly approached him, calling him their elder brother. It was clear that Sung Jiang would be the future leader of the team, and he comfortably accepted their flattery. It was a while before he was willing to spare a glance for Yezu, his eyes filled with disdain.
"Yezu, hand over One Autumn Leaf account card to Sung Jiang,"
the club manager said. Even if Yezu was unfazed before, at this moment his heart couldn't help but ache. Yezu, One Autumn Leaf. The relationship between these two names was obvious. This was the name created when he had first entered the online game world of Glory. 10 years. This account had accompanied Yezu for a full 10 years. The newbie back then turned to become the expert Glory textbook. The insignificant battle mage had turned into the famous battle god in Glory. But 7 years ago, when he entered the professional circle, he signed a business contract with the club, transferring to them all the rights of One Autumn Leaf. Yezu had long known that they would part ways one day. And now this day finally arrived. Yezu's fingers trembled just slightly. For a pro player, steady hands were a must. This old veteran had an immense, unrivaled mental strength, but right now, his hands were trembling. To the side, Suma Cheng twisted her head. She did not want to see the scene, but she was powerless to help. Under the gazes of everyone delighting in his misfortune, One Autumn Leaf, that silver-white account card, was handed over to Sung Jiang. Sung Jiang's eyes lit up with greed and excitement. Exit area had been greatly plummeting these past 2 years, but he had willingly transferred here solely because they had this pinnacle account, One Autumn Leaf. One Autumn Leaf's former owner, Yezu, had not performed well these past few years, and he often broke out in arguments with the club. Sung Jiang had 100% confidence in replacing him. Mine! In the instant he grabbed the card, Sung Jiang felt a burst of excitement. But as he tried to pull away, he felt a trace of resistance from the card. Sung Jiang felt Yezu's reluctance and proudly shorted. Let go, Brother Yi. Look at your hands. They're shaking like this. How could those hands show off the power of the battle god? Better leave it to me. I'll let the title of the battle card once again resound through glory. You? Retire. Up until now, Yezu had mostly acted indifferent, aside from that reluctance when handing over the account card. But after saying this, Sung Jiang saw a sharp flash in Yezu's eyes, and he discovered in shock that Yezu's trembling hands suddenly steadied. Do you like this game? Yezu asked, suddenly looking straight at Sung Jiang. What? Sung Jiang was startled. If you like it, then treat this all as glory, and not boasting. What did you say? What does this have to do with you? Sung Jiang suddenly lost control. At this moment, without knowing why, he felt that he was a head shorter than Yezu. He didn't want to lose to his opponent in attitude. He came here to replace Yezu. He came here to take the battle god, One Autumn Leaf. Take care of it. Just when Sung Jiang wanted to muster his loftiness, Yezu had already let go of the account card. He said this phrase faintly and turned around to leave. Yezu? At this moment, the manager suddenly called out. Yezu stopped and tilted his head slightly to the side, listening as the manager said behind him, The club doesn't have any suitable account cards to give you right now. For now, you can just stay as a training partner. Training partner? A person who would help build a dynasty in the Alliance? An expert who had earned all the individual honors of glory? Had actually fallen so low to become a mere training partner? Sung Jiang was interested in this arrangement, immediately laughing out loud. With Brother Yi's skill level, helping train won't be a problem. Only you deserve to be the Glory Professionals Alliance #1 training partner. Yezu actually laughed at that insult. He turned towards the manager. Training partner? I don't think that's necessary. Cancel the contract. Cancel the contract? Are you actively seeking to cancel the contract? The manager looked as if he were in deep thought. Right, I request to cancel the contract. Don't be rash. Sun Bushang immediately rushed over to stop Yezu. The Alliance had its own rules, except for special regions during the contract period. Anyone requesting to cancel a contract had to pay a penalty fee. Yezu and Exit Area still had another 1.5 years in the contract. If he were to forcefully request termination of this contract, then the loss would be huge. But more of that, Sun Bushang feared Yezu's departure. The boss isn't here yet. Wait for him to come before you continue speaking. Sun Bushang hoped that Yezu would calm down. Yezu had noticed a trace of ridicule in the corner of the manager's mouth long ago. He shook his head towards Sun Bushang and laughed bitterly. Don't you understand? My departure is the boss's goal. I no longer have any value to this club. I'm only a money sink. No way, how could you be a money sink? Your strength doesn't lose to anyone, Sun Bushang said. This isn't just an issue of strength. This is business, Yezu said. And me, I've never had any business value. Should have had the value. You chose to give it up, the manager coldly injected at this moment. Right, this is my choice, Yezu said. The current Glory Professional Alliance was flourishing. Sponsors flocked left and right. Celebrity players in Glory were naturally sought after for advertisements or endorsements. But even though Yezu was a top-tier player, he rejected all advertising offers. He even refused to take part in interviews or press conferences. He was like an ancient citizen, carefully concealing his true identity in virtual reality. The club was extremely dissatisfied with this matter. In their eyes, he was a gold mountain right beside him. Yet they couldn't dig out even the slightest amount of profit. They were only able to put up with him because his strength was tyrannical, helping the club gain fame and glory. But as their achievements declined, everything was now in the past. The Alliance's commercialization allowed us to survive. But now? Yezu couldn't say anything further. He also didn't know whether this development was good or bad. The current alliance was full of greed. Every alliance's boss's first consideration was how to exploit the team to make a profit. Harbouring a love for gaming and tirelessly struggling for glory, Yezu cherished his memories of the early days of the alliance. But now, the alliance only strived for profit. Sun Bushang didn't say another word. She had walked alongside Yezu on the same path. She too was a veteran who had witnessed all of this. Her eyes were brimming with tears. She knew that Yezu truly wanted to leave, and blocking him would only make it more painful for him.
Since it's like this,
No need, Yezu smiled, interrupting Sumacheng. He knew what she wanted to say, and so he said to her, "Don't worry, I haven't lost all hope yet. I'll be back."
Not bad, that's the ambitious Yezu I recognize. Then, let's talk about the penalty fee. Honestly speaking, since you've been with us for so many years and contributed so much, we won't push it. If you want to leave, then let's all sit down and talk about the details of cancelling the contract. How about it?
Tell it to me straight. What are the conditions? Yezu asked.
The condition is simple. Announce your retirement,
the manager said.
Retirement? You call that condition not pushing it?
Sumacheng was furious. Yezu was 25 years old this year. For pro players in competitive esports, this age was already considered old. And retiring at this age was not at all strange, but Yezu already stated clearly that he didn't want to quit. The accident-era manager's condition of retirement was obviously directed against him. Retired pro players, of course, were not qualified to participate in a tournament. Although they could return, the Glory Professional Alliance had a rule stating that a retired pro player could only return after a full year. This was to prevent the team switching games played by people retiring one day and returning the next. Yezu was already at the twilight of his career. Every day was precious, but now they wanted him to waste a year? After 1 year, even if he wanted to return again, he would be old and lacking a year of intense competition to maintain his skill level. Even if he had his former fame, it was highly uncertain that a team would still be willing to accept him. In addition, Yezu had his fatal flaw. He refused all business-related activities. It seemed like an unacceptable condition, but Yezu simply nodded his head. "I agree."
Are you crazy?
Sumacheng exclaimed. "I've worked so hard for so many years. What's so bad about a year of rest?" Yezu smiled.
What? What are you thinking?
Sumacheng didn't understand. "Nothing much." Yezu turned his head. The manager had already handed over the documents. Yezu took a glance at them and laughed a bit. They'd really been paired for this long? As he thought about this, Yezu put the pen to the paper and quickly signed his name. Just about to leave. Yezu took one final look at this place where he'd spent 7 years. He didn't say any polite farewells, and suddenly turned around to leave.
I'll send you off.
Sumacheng was the only one to follow behind him. Translator note: Yeku literally translates to autumn leaf.